Hello, guys. I hope you had a great day. And here I am with another update of the Israel-Hamas war. And the theme of today is, what is Biden's Gambit? As you know, President Biden came to visit Israel today, and an incredible act of solidarity. It was the first time an American president had visited Israel in war, at a time of war. And for that, he deserves a lot of credit. And ever since the war began, President Biden has been unconditionally there by Israel's side. He has sent two battle flotillas, or two battle groups, two aircraft carriers. I believe each of those contains 20 battleships. In addition to the aircraft carrier itself, an incredible projection of American force to the region, as well as plane loads of very advanced weapons to be used by Israel if there's a need. There's also in the Negev Desert, and has been, I believe, since after the war with Hezbollah in 2006, a very large arms cache. It's a forward position for the United States should it ever need to use those arms for its own interests to project power, should there be any operations or wars that involve the United States in the Middle East. But the United States has given Israel almost unlimited access to it in case the need should arise, an emergency restocking of arms for Israel if it needs so during a war. America has been by Israel's side, and President Biden deserves credit. But what's happening behind the scenes? What are we not seeing on the surface? What is President Biden's gambit? Well, this has been discussed in Israel today, and a lot of people are in the belief, or of the belief, or of the opinion that the President of the United States has three goals. One is that Israel destroy Hamas, and of course, Israel would say amen to that. But here it gets tricky, and here we see a divergence of American and Israeli interests. Number two, that President Biden wants is for Israel to restore the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization, or its governing body today known as the Palestinian Authority, which rules over the West Bank, to have them reestablished in Gaza as well, in order to lead to stage three, which be a full-on Palestinian state declared in both the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, or Judea and Samaria, ostensibly to live at peace, side by side, living along Israel for happily ever after. Now, for most of us in Israel, obviously I'm not in Israel right now, but I lived there for 25 or 6 years, and I still work there when there's no wars or coronavirus, up to 7 months a year. Most of us who live there are very much of the belief that there is no real difference between the PLO and Hamas. They're one and the same. The only difference being that one totally cloaks itself in Islam and the Quran. The other hides behind the flag of secularism, but if you read its constitution, its platform is no different from Hamas, in that it seeks the total destruction of Israel. When Israel set out to make peace with the Palestinians in 1993, in what's called the Oslo peace process, the Palestinians promised to remove from their charter the call to destroy Israel and to replace all of it with a Palestinian state. They made that promise, but they never carried it out. It still exists in their charter to this day. But the Democratic Party, and not just its most left-wing flank of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and others, who are usually called by the name of the Squad, the Democratic Party in general has always had it as their platform that Israel needs to create a Palestinian state run by the PLO as the official and sole representative of the Palestinian people, believing that they've changed their ways, that they've changed their outlook, that they're willing to one day live with Israel in peace. But again, most people in Israel see right through that. It's just not true. The PLO and its leader, Abbas, is known to be not just a rejectionist of Israel's right to exist, but he rejects that the Holocaust even happened. He wrote a dissertation to get his PhD from a university that he attended in Russia on how the Holocaust was just one big hoax. Okay, so he's definitely not a moderate. He's no friend of Israel. So that's President Biden's gambit. The last thing I want to discuss as I close this brief video is that yesterday it was reported by one of Israel's leading news stations, Channel 12, that a golden opportunity, a chance of a lifetime, had been presented to the war cabinet of Netanyahu and Benny Gantz and Eisenkot, okay, and some others who are privy to that council. And the entire security establishment, the generals, the military planners, in one voice said an opportunity has presented itself, a game-changing opportunity has presented itself to maybe change the fortunes of not just this war for the good of Israel, but maybe to change the face of the Middle East. And Netanyahu vetoed doing it. And this raises the question of where is Netanyahu's nerve? For years, he's been the subject of a lot of criticism across the whole political spectrum, not just people who are against him politically, but even other conservatives and right wingers in Israel's government, that he lacks the nerve to do what it takes in that hour of trial. In sports, I would liken it to a team that chokes. A team that does incredibly well throughout the regular season, even for much of the playoffs, but when it gets to that final series, it chokes and loses the momentum that it carried into the postseason. People question where he's at with his nerve and his ability to be decisive in wartime. And yesterday, like I said, at least this one news station that's highly respected in Israel had claimed that there were leaks from the war cabinet, in which, again, with one voice, the whole security establishment saw an opportunity that was presented to them by Israel intelligence, a game changer, a once in a lifetime opportunity that may never come again. And he alone decided to veto it. We don't know what it is. We may not know for years what that opportunity was. But it does call into question his nerve, and it's been called into question for many, many years, okay, by many Benjamin Netanyahu observers. So I thought that was a second subject that you may find interesting. Anyway, that concludes this day's Israel update. President Biden's gambit. What's he want to do? Number one, destroy Hamas. Number two, replace it with the PLO in Gaza. Number three, establish a Palestinian state under the rule of the PLO, which he believes, and much of the Democratic Party here in the United States believes, has reformed its ways and will live at peace with Israel. But most people in Israel don't believe that for a moment. Thank you for being with me for this Israel update. And like I said, I'm going to try to crank these out every day. Please give a thumbs up to the video or write a comment or do both. It's supposed to help the algorithm and help the video get promoted through the YouTube world. Let's get this channel going, folks. If you believe that this is worthy information that I'm giving you each day, help me to grow this channel. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and write comments. Have a great day or an evening wherever you are. Stay safe, stay vigilant. Bye-bye. Thank you.